Hello everyone, you are all welcome to lecture number 940 and today's topic is the pesticides in food chain is health hazard part 2. And nowadays I am discussing actually how these insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, they are affecting our health, while our food grains, vegetables, fruits, they are contaminated with these pesticides. Some 2 years research study conducted under that is Food and Agriculture Organization, it is international organization, and they took the sample from more than 20 universities in India, and the samples were 1600 plus. They were mainly food grains, and when they conducted the research, they found that in 53% of all these 1600 samples, they contain DDT, that is dichlorodirephenyl trichloroethane, that is called DDT, and at ppm level it was around 20 ppm, and the hexachlorobenzene was 15 ppm and it was up to 36%. So it was very much surprising, and later on Indian Council of Medical Research, that is called ICMR, they conducted the research in 2000 vegetable and fruit samples, and they found that 97% of all these vegetables and fruits, they were contaminated with DDT and HBC, that is benzene hexachloride. And it is alarming because as per WHO, it is very high. Then in America, the National Institute of Environmental Health conducted the research on these insecticides and pesticides, and they reported that these insecticides, they have two health hazards. One, that they are reducing the reproductive capacity in males and females also, and sometimes the females, they cannot conceive the pregnancy, and even sometimes it is terminated. And secondly, they are carcinogenic, means they are causing cancer. And the reason was given that these pesticides, they are responsible of reducing the immune system, and once our immune system is reduced, of course our fighting all these pathogen, bacteria, virus is drastically reduced, and in this way we get cancer. So they have mentioned in their publication and research findings that these pesticide, insecticide, herbicide, fungicide contamination in our food, in our vegetable and fruits, they have a strong link of some different type of cancers. So all these I am going to discuss one by one. So here I am going to discuss the two very interesting research were conducted in food articles, one under the supervision of Agriculture Food Organization under UNO, and second one was conducted by Indian Medical Council Research, that is ICMR in Delhi, India, and their findings are given here. Number one, a 2-year study on pesticide residues in food articles sponsored by the Food and Agriculture Organization was carried out at Punjab Agriculture University, Ludhiana, India. The samples were collected from Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and UP Uttar Pradesh. These are all the different states of India from where this sampling was done. In the 1651 samples of cereals analyzed, and it was found that 53% contained residues of DDT, ranging from traces to 12 ppm, that is part per million, and 31% BSC, that is benzene hexachloride, ranging from traces to 20 ppm. The majority of the samples were contaminated with DDT, and 60% of the samples exceed the limit of WHO, and that is in terms of MRL. MRL means maximum residue limit, value of 1.25 ppm. So actually the maximum value by WHO and by MRL, it should not exceed more than 1.25 ppm. But here you can see that it is going up to 20 ppm, and other one is also going more than that. So in this case, that is one is 12 ppm part per million, and other one is 20 ppm part per million, and here the maximum limit by WHO, and that is maximum residue limit, should not exceed from 1.25 ppm. So it is very high. Besides, DDT residues of BSC in the form of alpha and beta isomers are known carcinogens. So these alpha and beta isomers is in isomeric form, is a stereochemistry involved, and they are carcinogenic, means they are cancer producing. We are also detected about 66% samples of the popular brand of butter. I am not mentioning the name of butter here because it is their commercial marketing will be affected. So the very popular brand in India of butter contain DDT residues above MRL, that is maximum residue limit. Similarly, out of 2,154 samples of vegetables and fruits were analyzed and found that 27% contain DDT, ranging from traces to 35 ppm, and 28% benzene hexachloride, and the limit is, you know, that it should not exceed more than 1.25 ppm, ranging from traces to 60 ppm, even it goes up to 60 ppm. Number 2, according to recent research published by the Council of Medical Research, Delhi, India, in which about 2,000 samples were analyzed and found 97% of the samples of the food commodities analyzed were contaminated with pesticide residues, and 25% contained residues above maximum residues limit, that is MRL. Even the human milk was found to be 25% contain residues above MRL level, and that is even the human milk was found to be contaminated with DDT and BSC. Samples of the milk are taken from 120 mothers in Punjab state, and it was found that the DDT residue was 0.24 to 0.50 ppm, and BSC was 0.07 ppm in human milk. So here I have given the findings of two research project, one conducted in Sudan, where it is reported that a maximum quantity of pesticides are used in Africa, and second is conducted by Resource Institute, and their findings are given here. Number 3, also recent studies by the US National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences found that pesticides are the main cause of various cancers of the human reproductive system. A survey of women in Sudan country, where DDT is much used in Africa, found that pregnant women exposed to excess pesticides suffered from twice as many stillbirths as unexposed women. Number 4, according to World Resource Institute, that is WRI, considerable evidence exists that exposure to widely used such as DDT and other organochlorine compounds may suppress the immune system, making people significantly more vulnerable to infections. Means once their immune system is weak, is compromised, they are very weak, and they can get very quickly the infections, diseases and certain cancers. In another research study, the teenagers in villages where pesticides application was the largest had 2 to 5 times as many respiratory tract infections as teenagers from the area of low pesticides use. Number 5, pesticides make people much more susceptible to streptococcus infections such as rheumatic fever, which weakens the heart. This is very clear that once any child or anybody who is suffering from rheumatic fever, it is directly affecting to the damage of heart, or heart will become weak, and it is found that infection that is known as streptococcus, and it is due to the excess use of pesticide in the heart. And cancer experts believe that risk of lymphatic cancers increases when the human body's immune system gets affected or suppressed. It's very clear that once our immune system is weak, is affected, we can get, this is the one expert finding, that then there is maximum chance of getting lymphatic cancers. Several studies carried out in Canada, Sweden and USA have shown a strong connection between the risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, that is known as NHL, and use of pesticides, frequent use of herbicides, particularly 2,4-dichloro hexaacetic acid, dichlorophenoxy acetic acid, that is known as 2,4-D, has been associated with 200 to 800% increased risk of NHL, because it contains very poisonous compound that is known as dioxin, and that is causing the people to get NHL cancer. So with this I will stop. Thank you very much for watching the lecture.